I'm nervous, but why do you think I'm mad? My senses are very sharp, and above all, my hearing is extremely acute. Does that make me mad? Listen how calmly I can tell you the whole story. I loved the old man. He never wronged me or insulted me, nor did I desire his gold. I think it was his eye. It resembled a vulture, pale blue, covered with a film. It made my blood run cold, so I made up my mind to take his life. Every night, about midnight, I turned the latch of his door and opened it, oh, so gently. When I had an opening large enough, I put in a lantern, all closed, so that no light shone out. Then I put in my head. Oh, you would have laughed to see how cunningly I did it. Very slowly, so that I could see him as he lay on his bed. Would a madman have been as wise as this? Then I opened the lantern, so that a single ray fell upon the vulture eye. But it was always closed. One night, as I opened the lantern, my thumb slipped on the fastening. The old man sprang up, crying out, "Who's there?" For an hour, I didn't move a muscle. But I didn't hear him lie down. He was sitting up, listening in mortal terror. I opened the lantern so that a single dim ray fell upon the vulture eye. It was wide open. I grew furious as I gazed upon it, all a dull blue with a hideous veil over it. So, you see, what you mistake for madness is just over-acuteness of the senses. And now there came to my ears a low, dull sound, such as a watch makes when wrapped in cotton. I knew that sound, too. It was the beating of the old man's heart. The beating grew louder and louder. The sound might be heard by a neighbor. With a loud yell, I leaped into the room. He shrieked once. Only once. As I dragged him to the floor and threw the heavy bed over him. For many minutes, the heart beat on, but at length it ceased. The old man was stone dead. Now I took wise precautions to conceal the body. First, I dismembered the corpse, then took 3 planks from the flooring and deposited the remains. I replaced the boards so cleverly that no human eye could detect anything wrong. It was still dark when there came a knocking on the door. I opened it, and 3 policemen entered. The shriek had been heard by a neighbor who called them to investigate. I smiled and bade them welcome and invited them to search. As the room had been restored to perfect order, I had nothing to fear. In my confidence, I brought chairs and asked them to rest, placing my own seat on the very spot beneath which reposed the victim. For a while, I was perfectly at ease, answering questions cheerily. Before long, though, I felt myself getting pale and wished they would leave. My head ached, and a ringing began in my ears, but still they sat and chatted. As the ringing in my ears grew louder, I talked in a louder voice. Now, a new noise came to my ears, the low, dull sound that a watch makes when wrapped in cotton. I gasped for breath and talked more quickly. The noise increased. I rose and argued about trifles, making wild gestures, but the noise grew even louder. I paced the floor. Will they never leave? I felt I must scream or die. Louder, louder, louder! Then I shrieked! I admit the deed! Tear up the planks! Here! Here!